Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here. And on this episode of Batman Cape Crusader, we go maybe supernatural. We'll have to see as we go through the episode. But it looks pretty creepy. We open with a armored car of the West Side Charity getting robbed by this man on horseback who seems kind of like a ghost. An old highwayman from, like the 1800s. The papers start calling him the gentleman ghost because of the way he talks. And also, over in Bruce Wayne's neck of the woods, Lucius Fox has found the perfect land for Bruce's low income housing project he wants to build to, help with the homelessness and high rent and all that kind of stuff. Because at his heart, though he's a billionaire, he is a good person deep down. Otherwise, he wouldn't be Batman, right? Well, anyway. Also, Harvey Dent, the DA, is running into a problem with his campaign. His poll numbers are going down, and he's out of cash. He does get a visit by Rupert Thorne, head of most organized crime in the city. He's going to help him in the area of money. For, he's concerned about the city that he lives in, and he thinks Dent would be the best for the job, even though he's the one who backed the current mayor. But, you always got to keep your options open on things like that. Anyways, he scoffs at Thorne and goes to set up a great press conference on a subway. And wouldn't you know it, the gentleman ghost shows up on that subway. And Dent, playing to the cameras to make himself look good, pulls out his wallet, a big wad of bills, and goes, "Here, take this. Leave these people alone." And the ghost says, "No, I wouldn't dream of robbing a man of your station." These people, on the other hand, he steals everything from the poor passengers. He gets off, and Batman gives chase in the Batmobile. He notices there's an interesting crest on the saddlebags. And he loses the ghost when they go down an alley, and he goes through a wall. And it's really weird because there's like bits of paper floating around, and Batman examines one of them, and it's like the bills he was carrying. Only they're kind of charred. Bits of charred money. Weird. He's trying to find a logical explanation for this, because there's no such things as spirits and things like that. And of course, Alfred then has to quote that famous Sherlock Holmes phrase about when you've eliminated the impossible, whatever's left, though improbable, is the answer. That one. Of course, I'm not saying it correctly, but you get the idea. Batman is not happy with this aside. Kind of gives him a scowl. Now, Fox goes to visit Mr. Craddock, who is selling his estate. They have fallen on really hard times, and he just can't keep it up, and it is the perfect place to build all these low-income housings. And we, the audience, notice the crest on the door is the same that's on the saddlebags. Could he be the ghost hoping to replenish his coffers? Well, Bruce goes to a librarian to look up the crest, and the librarian recognizes it and tells him about the Craddock family and how an ancestor was a famous highwayman who stole from poor to replenish the family fortunes, which he lost due to bad investments and gambling. Well, that's enough for Bruce, so he changes to Batman and heads for the Craddock estate. Uh, while he's heading there, the Ghost appears before both Fox and Craddock. He's upset that his great 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 grandnephew or whatever is planning to sell his land for use by the poor. Batman arrives, and they have an interesting battle where the Ghost keeps hitting him, but every time he goes to hit the Ghost, he just passes right through. But then, after fighting him, he stops. Batman is a man of learning. Only a true aristocrat would be able to fight this well, that way. He has no he has no fight with him. He's of his kind and disappears. Well, Batman has to get some information on a spirit he now believes, supernatural. So he visits a man named Midnight in the back of an occult bookstore and other things. And he gives Batman a book of spells and a small test tube. What's the test tube for? You'll know it when it's time. And he will have only one request from him. When he does what needs to be done with the test tube, he has to give it back to Midnight. Well, they go to the graveyard, and Alfred, being related to nobility, uses his blood to power the spell. And unfortunately, the Ghost attacks before the deed. That's the other thing. Batman goes and steals the original deed, which they have to burn at the end of the spell. But before they can burn that, the Ghost appears, attacks Batman, and then during the fight, the paper deed gets thrown into the fire and he starts to turn into smoke. But before it disappears, he enters Alfred. Now Batman has to fight Alfred, which, he doesn't want to do. Finally, Batman manages to burn the last part of the deed, which turns him into smoke, which he then captures in the little test tube. And Batman is very upset, and he's almost on the verge of tears that Alfred may have died, but Alfred's okay. So see, he really does care, despite the fact that he treats him like crap through all this. Anyway, Midnight appears, and he gives the tube to him. And turns out Midnight and the Ghost know each other. And Midnight is going to take care of the Ghost for basically eternity, which the Ghost is scared about. And it's amazing because you would think Batman would fight him over possession, but there are some things even Batman can't stand against. Midnight is one of them. He is a fighter of the supernatural, and so Bruce goes along with that. And then at the end of the episode, Dent's ratings have plummeted in the polls. His stunt on the subway just about destroyed his campaign. So he picks up the phone and calls Thorne. I know that's not going to end well for him by the end of this season or series. I don't know how, but I know things aren't going to go well for him. Thorne's a gangster. He loves to play people against each other. He loves to make deals and then renege. And the more Dent goes down that path, the more beholden to Thorne he'll be. Pretty good episode. I like the supernatural aspects. I liked Alfred being possessed, and now Batman has to fight his... well, he's not his friend yet, although he's a father figure. So, I like the introduction of Midnight. He was pretty good. All in all, a good episode. And I'm curious to see what happens next.